First contact and discovery. The signal came on a Tuesday. Dr. Maya Ishikawa had been monitoring deep space transmissions for 15 years at the SETI compound in New Mexico. After a decade and a half of cosmic silence, she learned to expect nothing. Which is why when her systems detected a structured pattern from the Kuiper Belt region, she initially assumed it was a glitch. Raj, can you verify this reading? She called to her colleague, Dr. Rajiv Patel, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. Raj crossed the room quickly, his expression changing from mild curiosity to focused intensity as he scanned the wavelength patterns. That's not random noise. Run it through the pattern analysis again. The results came back the same. A clear, repeating sequence, too ordered to be natural, too precise to be anything but artificial. We need to alert Director Chen, Maya said, her voice barely above a whisper. What they didn't know, what no civilian scientist could have known, was that Director Chen already knew. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that didn't exist on any public record, the United Earth Defense Initiative had been tracking the approaching vessel for 3 weeks. General Helena Rodriguez stood before a room of grim-faced military and intelligence personnel from 17 nations. The hologram floating in the center of the secure chamber showed the sleek, elongated form of what could only be an alien spacecraft, currently decelerating as it approached Neptune's orbit. Ladies and gentlemen, as of 400 hours, the object has changed course again, eliminating any possibility that this is a natural phenomenon. We are looking at first contact. A murmur ran through the room, quickly silenced as Rodriguez continued. What concerns us is the vessel's emission signature. It's running active scanning protocols across multiple spectrums, focusing particularly on defensive capabilities and resource concentrations. Admiral Kazuo Yamamoto, representing Japan's Space Force, leaned forward. This is not an exploration vessel. This is a reconnaissance scout. Precisely, Rodriguez confirmed. Everything about its behavior suggests military assessment. We're being sized up. Defense Minister Singh from India rubbed his temple. Is this the moment we've been preparing for since the Terran incident? No one needed to be reminded of the Terran incident. In 2037, a small alien craft had crashed in the Iranian desert. The wreckage and single deceased occupant had provided Earth with its first confirmation of extraterrestrial intelligence and enough recovered technology to leapfrog human advancement by decades. The global powers, in a rare moment of cooperation, had agreed to keep the discovery secret while developing defensive capabilities. It appears so, Rodriguez answered, which means it's time to decide. Do we reveal what we know or maintain the deception? In the cold vacuum of space, Commander Xalek of the Galactic Dominion scout vessel Inevitable Discovery studied the holo-displays of the primitive blue-green world. His 4 eyes blinked in vertical sequence, a sign of satisfaction among his species. Another resource-rich world with a pre-interstellar civilization. He noted to his first officer, Vextra. Begin standard assessment protocols. Vextra, her scaled skin reflecting the blue light of the displays, manipulated controls with 6-fingered hands. Deploying observation drones now, Commander. Initial readings show high biodiversity, abundant water, and significant mineral resources. And the dominant species, bipedal mammals. They've achieved nuclear capabilities, primitive space travel within their system, and global electronic communications, standard Class 3 civilization, ripe for integration. Phallic's mouthparts curved in what his species considered a smile. The Dominion will be pleased. Their history suggests they're fractious and divided. It should be a simple matter to establish regional control points and manage their integration. There is one anomaly, sir, Vextra noted with slight hesitation. Their technological progression seems uneven. They have surprisingly advanced quantum computing capabilities alongside relatively primitive propulsion systems. Xalek dismissed the concern with a wave. Many developing species have unbalanced advancement rates. It's why the Dominion's guidance is so beneficial to them. Begin comprehensive assessment. I want a full invasion plan ready when the fleet arrives. What Salak couldn't see, what the Dominion's sophisticated scanning technology somehow missed, was the web of hyper-advanced satellites in Earth's orbit, designed specifically to appear as space debris while monitoring for exactly this kind of threat. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known as Deepwatch Alpha, Lieutenant Commander Sophia Rice watched real-time translations of the alien communications. Thanks to advanced decryption algorithms developed from the Terran technology, Earth's defenders could understand every word the Dominion scouts spoke. They're preparing for invasion, she reported to the assembled Joint Chiefs on the secure video feed. We have maybe 4 months before their main fleet arrives, based on their communication protocols. What are their vulnerabilities? Asked the Chinese representative. Sophia pulled up detailed schematics. Their ships rely heavily on a quasi-organic technology for their navigation systems. They clearly believe their stealth technology makes them invisible to our detection capabilities. Most importantly, they're completely unaware of our true technological level. General Rodriguez's voice came through the speakers. Then we maintain the deception. As far as they know, we're a divided planet with mid-20th century space capability. Meanwhile, we accelerate Project Athena. No one needed to ask what Project Athena was. For 30 years, Earth's most brilliant minds have been developing a planetary defense system unlike anything the Dominion could imagine, a system built from the ground up with the Terran technology. What about civilian detection? Asked the Russian general. We can't stop astronomers from eventually noticing the scout ship, Rodriguez answered. When they do, we implement the cover story. Unidentified astronomical phenomenon, possibly a unique comet. Meanwhile, we let our visitors think their stealth systems are working. As weeks passed, the Dominion scout ship deployed dozens of small observation drones into Earth's atmosphere, each one designed to be invisible to what they believed was Earth's detection capability. They watched humans go about their daily lives, analyzed military installations, mapped resources, and compiled what they thought was a complete assessment of Earth's defensive capabilities. What they didn't realize was that humans were watching them watch. In the United Earth Defense Initiative's Tokyo facility, Dr. Kenji Tanaka led the team responsible for tracking every Dominion drone. They're actually quite predictable, he explained to his team. Their scan patterns follow standard military reconnaissance protocols, not so different from what we might do. His assistant, Dr. Lina Okoa, nodded. But should we be concerned about what they're learning? Dr. Tanaka smiled. We're only showing them what we want them to see. Every major military installation they're scanning is essentially a Potemkin village, impressive on the surface, but hiding our true capabilities. Meanwhile, our actual defense systems remain completely off their radar. In orbit, Commander Xalak received the reports from his drone network with growing confidence. The humans possess approximately 150 nuclear weapons spread across 7 nations. Their space capabilities are limited to a small orbital station and chemical propulsion vehicles. Global military forces number approximately 20 million personnel, but they remain divided along national lines with limited unified command structure. Recommended invasion approach, Vextra asked, preparing the report for Dominion Command. Standard planetary subjugation protocol. Simultaneous strikes on major military installations, followed by occupation of governmental centers. Their divided nature will prevent any coordinated resistance. As the inevitable discovery transmitted its findings back to the Dominion fleet, Xalak felt the satisfaction of a mission well executed. The humans would make excellent subjects of the Dominion. Their resources and labor would serve the greater Galactic Empire well. What he couldn't know was that every byte of his transmission was being intercepted, analyzed, and allowed to continue only because it served Earth's strategy perfectly. As Maya Ishikawa finally received official clearance to announce the discovery of unusual stellar phenomena to the scientific community, Earth's real preparations continued in secret. The deception was working perfectly. The Dominion scout believed it had found an easy target. In 3 months, they would learn just how wrong they were. Resistance and revelation. The Dominion fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, exactly as Earth's defenders had predicted. 12 massive warships, each nearly 5 kilometers long, accompanied by dozens of smaller support vessels, a force designed to overwhelm a pre-interstellar civilization with minimal effort. On the bridge of the flagship Inexorable Dominance, Fleet Commander Zixar reviewed the final invasion plans with his senior officers. His species, the Valkar, had led the Dominion's expansion for centuries, bringing hundreds of worlds under their control. Commander Xalek's reconnaissance has been thorough, he said, his voice a rumbling bass that reverberated through the command deck. The humans possess no technology that can detect our approach until we're within their inner system. We will achieve complete surprise. His weapons officer, Sub-Commander Drell, displayed the attack vectors on the main holographic projection. Primary targets are their military installations, power generation facilities, and governmental centers. Secondary strikes will disable communications and transportation networks. The species should be ready for integration processing within 3 standard cycles. What they didn't realize was that Earth had detected their arrival the moment they entered the solar system. Deep in Earth's combined military command center beneath the Swiss Alps, a facility known as Sanctuary, General Rodriguez watched the incoming fleet with grim satisfaction. They've arrived exactly where our predictive model suggested, she noted to the assembled military leadership. 17 vessels larger than anything humanity has officially built, plus support craft. Admiral Yamamoto studied the tactical display. They're positioning for a standard encirclement approach, just as we expected. Defense Minister Singh nodded. Then it's time. Implement Operation Lighthouse. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations hummed to life. In the asteroid belt, on the dark side of the moon, and in Earth's oceans, technology reverse-engineered and improved upon from the Terran incident, activated after decades of preparation. As the Dominion fleet crossed the orbit of Mars, Commander Zixar frowned at a sudden alert from his sensors officer. Commander, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from the third planet. Specifications. Unknown, sir. They don't match anything in our database. Zixar dismissed the concern. Probably they're primitive nuclear reactors detecting our approach. Proceed as planned. The first inkling that something was wrong came when 3 of their scout vessels suddenly lost propulsion as they passed a seemingly empty region of space near Earth's moon. Report, Zixar demanded. Unknown, Commander. The vessels report all systems are failing. Some kind of energy field is disrupting their drive cores. Before Zixar could respond, a communication request flashed on his command console, originating from Earth. With a growl of irritation, he accepted the transmission. The holographic display showed a human female in what appeared to be a military uniform. This is General Helena Rodriguez of the United Earth Defense Force. Your vessels have entered restricted space without authorization. Power down your weapon systems and establish stable orbit for diplomatic discussions. Zixar fought back a laugh. This is Fleet Commander Zixar of the Galactic Dominion. Your world has been selected for integration into our empire. Surrender your military capabilities immediately, and your transition will be peaceful. The human's expression didn't change. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Commander. We are aware of your integration protocols, and Earth does not consent to becoming a subject world. I strongly suggest you reconsider your approach. Now Zixar did laugh, a sound like grinding stones. With what leverage, human? Our scans show your most advanced weapons cannot even reach our current position, while ours can reduce your cities to ash. Your scans are incomplete, Rodriguez replied simply. You have 10 minutes to begin withdrawal, or we will be forced to demonstrate our actual capabilities. The transmission ended, leaving Zixar momentarily speechless before anger overtook him. Prepare the first wave of strikes. Target their largest military installations, Let's show these primitives what real power looks like. As the Dominion vessels moved into attack formation, they remained unaware that they were being allowed to position themselves exactly where Earth's defenders wanted them. Aboard the disabled scout ships, alien crews frantically tried to restore power, not understanding that they were caught in a quantum dampening field, technology the Dominion believed was still theoretical. The Dominion vessels have reached optimal position, reported Admiral Yamamoto in Sanctuary. All Athena platforms report ready. General Rodriguez took a deep breath. This moment had been prepared for since before she was born, the culmination of decades of secret development and global cooperation unlike anything in human history. Activate Athena. Limited demonstration only. Throughout the solar system, concealed platforms activated. From Earth's perspective, nothing visible happened. From the Dominion fleet's perspective, everything changed. Aboard the inexorable Dominance, chaos erupted as systems began failing across the fleet. Weapons arrays went offline. Propulsion systems sputtered. Communication between vessels degraded to almost nothing. What is happening? Zixar roared as his command deck flickered between emergency lighting and darkness. Some kind of targeted electromagnetic pulse, his science officer stammered, but more sophisticated than anything we've encountered. It's specifically targeting our command systems while leaving life support intact. As the Dominion fleet struggled to understand what was happening, a second transmission came through, this one somehow cutting through their communication blackout. General Rodriguez appeared again. That was a demonstration, Commander Zixar. A fraction of our defensive capability. Your reconnaissance was incomplete by design. We detected your scout vessel the moment it entered our system and allowed it to see only what we wanted it to see. For the first time in his long military career, Zixar felt a cold tendril of fear. Impossible. You're a pre-interstellar species. No, Commander. We are a species that chooses when to reveal our true capabilities. Your fleet is currently contained within our defensive grid. We could disable your vessels permanently if we chose to. Instead, we're offering you a chance to withdraw and report to your superiors that Earth is not suitable for integration. As if to emphasize her point, power briefly returned to the Dominion vessels, just enough to confirm that they were indeed at Earth's mercy. In the lower decks of the flagship, Engineer First Class Teeler, a member of the subjugated Lissani species, watched the power fluctuations with something approaching wonder. For centuries, his people had been integrated into the Dominion, serving as technical specialists while denied any real freedom. Now, for the first time, he was witnessing the Dominion's military might being neutralized. Could this be the moment? He whispered to his fellow Lissani engineer. On the command deck, Zixar faced the most difficult decision of his career. The reconnaissance had been wrong, catastrophically wrong. These humans possessed technology that the Dominion had either never encountered or had only theoretical knowledge of. Restore emergency power to all vessels, he ordered. Maintain life support and basic propulsion. To the human general, he said the hardest words he'd ever spoken. We will withdraw to discuss terms. As the crippled Dominion fleet limped to a safe distance, humanity's defenders allowed themselves a moment of cautious celebration. The first test of Project Athena had been successful, more successful than even its designers had anticipated. They'll be back, Admiral Yamamoto warned. Perhaps not this, Commander, but the Dominion won't simply accept defeat. We're counting on it, General Rodriguez replied. But next time, they'll come as diplomats, not conquerors. And that's a game we can win. Across the solar system, humans looked up at the night sky, most completely unaware of how close they had come to invasion, or how thoroughly their secret defenders had turned the tables. On the inexorable Dominance, Commander Zixar faced a difficult truth. He would return to Dominion space not in triumph but in confusion. For the first time in living memory, a Dominion fleet had been rendered helpless without firing a shot. And deep within the flagship, Engineer Teller began carefully spreading a dangerous message among his fellow subjugated species, Somewhere in the galaxy, someone had finally said no to the Dominion and won. Ultimatum and New Dawn. 6 months after the Dominion fleet's humiliating retreat, a different kind of alien vessel approached Earth, a diplomatic cruiser bearing the emblems of not just the Dominion, but also the Galactic Council, a loose confederation of civilizations that ostensibly govern disputes between major powers. In Geneva's newly constructed extraterrestrial diplomatic center, representatives from Earth's unified government prepared to meet the delegation. After centuries of speculating about first contact, humanity was about to formally enter the galactic community, not as conquered subjects, but as equals. General Rodriguez, now serving as Earth's defense secretary, adjusted her formal uniform as she stood with United Earth President Adeyemi and other key officials. The secrecy was over. In the months following the Dominion's attempted invasion, governments worldwide had revealed the truth. Earth had been preparing for this moment since the Terran incident nearly 40 years earlier. The initial shock and anger from the public at being kept in the dark had gradually transformed into a new sense of planetary unity. Ancient rivalries seemed suddenly petty in the face of extraterrestrial threats. "They're on final approach," an aide reported. "Sensors confirm the vessel is powered down to diplomatic protocols." President Adeyemi nodded. "Then let's welcome our guests and begin a new chapter for humanity." The Dominion delegation was led not by a military commander, but by High Diplomat Vorix, a member of the Valkar species political caste. Accompanying him were representatives from 3 other major galactic powers, a clear sign that Earth's demonstration had captured the attention of more than just the Dominion. President Adeyemi, Vorix began, his translator converting his rumbling speech to flawless English. "On behalf of the Galactic Dominion and the Council of Species, I extend greetings to Earth." The formalities continued, carefully choreographed on both sides, until the delegations were seated in the Grand Conference Chamber. The real discussions could begin. "Let us speak plainly," Vorix said, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "Your world has demonstrated technology that by all our intelligence, you should not possess. The Dominion is curious about how this came to be." President Adeyemi smiled diplomatically. "Perhaps your intelligence was incomplete. Earth has never claimed to be anything other than what we are, a young civilization eager to join the galactic community as equals, not subjects." The representative from the Solarian Republic, a feline-like being named Ambassador Miral, leaned forward with visible interest. "What interests many of us is the nature of your defensive technology. The reports describe capabilities that few races have mastered, even those with millennia of interstellar development." Secretary Rodriguez exchanged glances with the president, who nodded slightly. "What you encountered was Project Athena, a planetary defense system that operates on principles of quantum field manipulation," Rodriguez explained. "It allows us to selectively disrupt energy systems within a defined spatial area." "Impossible," muttered one of the Dominion's scientific advisors. "Such technology requires understanding of unified field theory that takes centuries to develop." Dr. Eliza Chen, Earth's leading physicist and the architect of much of the Athena system, smiled. "Not necessarily. Sometimes evolutionary paths of scientific discovery take unexpected turns. A single insight can collapse centuries of gradual progress into decades." No one mentioned the Terran incident specifically, but the implication was clear. Earth had benefited from a technological shortcut. The negotiations continued for days, evolving from tense diplomatic posturing to genuine exchange. It became clear that the Dominion, while the largest power in the region, was not universally beloved among other spacefaring civilizations. Earth's successful resistance had created ripples throughout the galactic political landscape. On the 3rd day, Ambassador Miral approached Rodriguez privately during a recess. "What you may not realize," the feline diplomat purred softly, "is that your demonstration has given hope to dozens of worlds that chafe under Dominion integration. No one has successfully resisted them in over 300 years." Rodriguez considered this carefully. "That wasn't our intention. We simply defended our sovereignty. Sometimes the greatest revolutions begin with the simplest of acts, Merrill replied. My government would be interested in discussing mutual defense arrangements, separate from these general negotiations. By the end of the week, the outlines of a new relationship had emerged. Earth would be recognized as a sovereign world with protected status under Galactic Council laws. In exchange, humans would share certain technologies, carefully selected ones that wouldn't upset the balance of power, and allow limited cultural and scientific exchange programs. The Dominion, facing the reality that military conquest of Earth would be costly if not impossible, focused instead on securing favorable trade agreements. Other galactic powers, sensing an opportunity to gain a new ally against Dominion expansion, offered their own diplomatic overtures. In the final session, High Diplomat Vortex made what appeared to be a casual inquiry. One question remains unanswered. Our initial reconnaissance detected no sign of your advanced defensive systems. How did you conceal them so completely? President Adeyemi exchanged glances with her advisors before answering. Perhaps it demonstrates a truth all civilizations should remember. Appearances can be deceiving, and underestimating others is the first step toward failure. As the alien delegations prepared to depart, Engineer Taylor, now serving as a technical advisor to the diplomatic mission, due to his experience with human technology, approached Dr. Chen during the farewell reception. Your Athena system, he said quietly, it reminds me of theoretical work done by my own people before the Dominion came. We called it the Harmony Field, technology that could have protected us had we completed it in time. Chen studied the alien engineer thoughtfully. Perhaps our scientists could collaborate on further research. I believe we have much to learn from each other. The significance of this exchange wasn't lost on either of them. Beyond the formal agreements signed by governments, these personal connections represented the true promise of humanity's entrance onto the galactic stage. As the diplomatic vessel departed Earth orbit, humanity looked to the stars with new understanding. They were not alone in the universe, and their place in it would not be determined by conquest, but by their own ingenuity and determination. In Sanctuary, now repurposed as Earth's interstellar defense headquarters, General Rodriguez stood with Admiral Yamamoto, watching the departing alien ship on their monitors. Do you think they'll honor the agreements? Yamamoto asked. Some will, some won't, Rodriguez replied. But they all know one thing now that they didn't know before. What's that? Rodriguez smiled grimly. That humanity won't be conquered without a fight they can't afford. In the vastness of space, the news spread from world to world, system to system. The Dominion had met its match in a species from a small blue planet in an unremarkable spiral arm of the galaxy. Earth hadn't just resisted integration. They have forced the Dominion to the negotiating table. For the subjugated species of the galaxy, it was more than news. It was hope. And for humanity, it was just the beginning. The stars had never seemed closer or more full of possibility. The end.